Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Adventure Boat. My name is Kelly.
I'm Trevor.
And today we have another recovery board shootout.
Pew pew.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. We're using the all-time contender, the Exitrax, against our plus $200 price point, Maxtrax and Treads.
That's right. Stay tuned for more. All right, guys. First on the list is the Maxtrax. These are the Mark II. These are the second in the lineup, but Maxtrax are world-renowned, probably the most common recovery boards out there, and for good reason. They are quality. They do the job. We all know this. These ones are the Mark IIs, and they are going to have a few differences in grip. I don't have the most expensive ones here because we're trying to make this competition as close to the price point as possible. And that price point for these guys is $330. So quite a bit more than the rest of the competitors. And what makes it so? We're about to find out. All right, so we have treads going all across. It has ramp on both sides, so you can use them on either direction. You don't got to think about it. You just throw them under the tire and start spinning the wheel. You have nubs going across it. They're kind of small and everything, but that should give you potential grip. The other things that I like on this is the handles. You can use it as a shovel, of course, but they're very comfortable. There's no sharp edges or anything. And mounting points. So Maxtrax, because they've been around forever, there's tons of aftermarket ways to mount these, inexpensive ways or really expensive ways. The whole gamute's out there. Other thing I like on these is you flip it over, you have nubs on the back and channels in here, so that way when you have it in the sand, the mud, and everything else, it really locks into place. Also made of a reinforced nylon, just like the rest of them. However, this is made in Australia. Next on the list, at a price point of $275, are the Tred HDs. These things are really cool. They have a ramp on the front, shovel on the back, so the exit side is the shovel side. One thing I like about the ramp is that it's got a little concaveness to it, so it's not such a harsh angle going into it, and we'll talk about that more during our demonstrations. The grooves on here are a little heftier, so I like those a lot. The handles on these guys, the handles are not holes, so they're comfortable, but they're not super easy to grip as the smaller handles on the other two. Just something small, but definitely comfortable. On the back side, one thing that I don't know how it's going to work is it's very smooth on the bottom. There's no nubs, channels, or anything else in here really, so it can slip out from under the tire a little easier. But again, we'll test that out. Another cool thing is that you can actually take two of them and kind of link them together. You could take the ramp side to the shovel side, as they call it, and they're locking together. However, I have not been able to really find a spot to be able to like really lock it in. We're going to test it more and see if we can try to do that. These are also made of reinforced nylon and made in Australia. And finally, in our list is the reigning champion, the Exitrax from our previous video. If you want to do that, go ahead and check out the link. And on this guy, this is the exact same track. It has been used for recoveries. It's slightly melted, not by us. I borrowed them out. Bad idea. But we're going to go ahead and keep using these guys because we couldn't break them in the first video. Let's try again. So these ones, it has a directional channels going across. They're all, they have these big steps in here, so it really locks in the tire. And you have your ramp on one side, your exit on the other side, and the ramp is a reverse directional, so it's actually flat on the top. And we'll show you more when we're actually doing demonstration with the tire stuck in a hole, but it creates a less angle on there. I'm really interested to see how that compares to the Tred design. The other thing, it has two handles on each side, one on the back, and very comfortable, really easy to use as a shovel. On the back side, it has tons of grip, grooves on the side, so it will not slip out of the sand or mud. The other thing with these guys is they actually have these grooves in the back, and with an optional link, you can link them together so you can have two, and it really holds it really well. The other thing is you can flip it over, wrong direction, drop it in, and it's a jack base. So you can use this as a jack base, or if it's really muddy, sandy, you can use the entire recovery board to distribute that weight. So really thought out, really nice feature. This guy is actually $200 MSRP, and you can always find them on sale, so they're actually less than $200. But once you throw in the optional link, which I think is a necessity, you're going to be just over the $200 mark. But these, unlike the other two, are made in New Zealand. So there. Straps. We got all kinds of straps here. And the great thing about straps is you tie these to the recovery boards. If you're in really deep sand, deep mud, and you got your weight of the vehicle, tire spinning, those things can get buried really easy. You have the strap on there off to the side, you can pull it out. All three of them come with straps, which is really nice. The Treads is probably the nicest strap. It has a wetsuit material on here, so it's very comfortable. However, it is black, so you can lose that in the dark in the mud pretty quick. But I mean, it has red tread, but yeah, I'd prefer brighter colors. The Maxtrax is a bright orange, so easily seen. However, it's really just a nylon strap. It's kind of cheap for the price you're paying for Maxtrax. I would figure it'd have a very nice strap to it. The Exitrax is a mix between the two. It has a softer nylon for the handle, so it's very comfortable, and it's bright. And yeah, so I would say this would probably be my winner out of the straps, but all of them will do the job. All three sets of these have lifetime warranties. However, the two Australian brands, Maxtrax and Treads, have a lifetime warranty against manufacturer defect. However, Exitrax actually has a lifetime warranty. If you break it, they'll send you a new pair.
Which is really good.
Yeah.
Also, as far as the testing itself goes, we're about to start. However, a little warning that we are not scientists. We're not out here to destroy these. We're not running it all out, burying them and trying to just destroy every single inch of these. We're here to just end user test them as they are tested out here in the desert, and just get to see like our own feedback of how we feel that they are doing. And
yeah, we want to test them how everybody uses these things. We're not torture testing. Right. That's not the point.
And it's our opinions. So at the end of the day, it's how we feel about it.
Yep.
All right, let's begin.
Do it. Keep going. More? Yeah. There you go. You're good. I just freaked myself out.
How's that?
Freaking pulling the strap behind me. I thought it was a snake.
Not today, rattlesnake. Not on my watch.
Kelly got this thing good and stuck. I mean, it's a Tacoma. That's what they do. The back tire is about 1/3 of the way down, almost to the bottom of the hub. So it's down there. We're going to use the Maxtrax itself as the shovel, dig its hole out, or dig the ramp out, we should say.
Watch the paint.
Yo, Taco.
How are the handles?
Handles are very comfortable. Very comfortable. If you guys watch the other video, the Smitty built handles were like razor blades. These, very similar to the Exitrax, very comfortable. Now that we got a sufficient ramp out, one thing that I was never a fan of on the Maxtrax is they actually have a ramp up. So when you dig a hole, you actually have to dig a little further because you have to make it so that ramp isn't that steep. You want to create less rolling resistance to get unstuck. Also, Maxtrax is nice enough to tell you which side is up. So this side is up. Now that we got it in position, let's get the thing out.
So with the Taco and two-wheel drive, it actually wasn't easy to get out. You could definitely feel it wasn't just a flat rolling resistance or non-rolling resistance. There's definitely a hump to kind of get up onto the Maxtrax. But once I got on, I felt like it kind of just pulled its way out pretty easily. And this is the beauty of this recovery straps. Just like that. Trev's good at shoveling.
Next up is the Tred HD. And the handles on this are a little different. Shovel is on the back end, the exit side of the ramp. Let's give it a try. So I will say it's comfortable to grip. However, because of the angle you have to dig at, it kind of digs in your palms a little bit on this edge. It's not painful, but it's definitely not comfortable.
You can see with every scoop you're getting less purchase.
Yeah. This thing's really, really down there. I don't think the 4Runner would ever get this stuck.
Keep digging, jump.
And because it has that little concave on the ramp, the first 3-4 inches definitely has a lot less ramp to it before it starts ramping up to the top of the board. All right, let's get it unstuck. Here's your leather man.
Yeah, thanks. Ooh. The treads I felt, it definitely getting on top of them was much easier. You could feel it just kind of smoothly went over, but I don't know why, but I just lost traction right in the middle of it as I was going on. And I immediately stopped, didn't want to melt them. So I kind of gave it a second, rolled back a little bit, and they got another ramp at it, and I got out right away. But I don't know why that loss of traction happened right in the middle. That's very odd. Oh, damn. That was in there. Definitely some tire on here. Got a little melty here. Got a little melty right here. It's not bad though. It is definitely not easy getting this taco stuck. We're having to kind of dig the holes out before we put them in it and then try to spin and really dig it in deeper. But yeah, not easy. And when I say not easy for this guy right here. Not easy for that guy.
I want to sit inside and drive. Actually, it's a taco. I don't want to get in this and drive. Last up, the Exitrax. Now, this one has already got some use and abuse. It's a little melty, but it should still grip and still hold up well. The handles, you have handles on the side and one on the back end here. So it's really comfortable to shovel with. So it's actually more comfortable to use the back than it is the sides.
There's a shovel right here. Why don't you just use this?
Well, that's not the point. And again, because the ramp is on the bottom, the top is completely flat. It creates less rolling resistance on the way out.
All right, go for it.
Well, that was easy.
Exitrax for the win. That was by far the easiest. I mean, it was just an effortless, just pull right out. Getting onto the track, there was no hump. It just was almost like a ramp, literally just went straight on, and then once I was on it, it just kind of just pushed me right off of it. So doesn't look like the Exitrax moved at all. We'll look at the video. I can't tell if it moved, but I don't think so. And it's not even buried. Let's get it out. Hey, look at that. And no more melty. Lucky Trev.
Comparing the three when they're all stacked up in size and height and all that good stuff, I would say the Maxtrax are the longest, the Exitrax are the next, and then the Treads at the tail end. But it's really close. I'm talking, there's probably maybe an inch and a half between the Treads and the Maxtrax. And height-wise, stacking, really minimum difference. I would probably say the Exitrax are the tallest, followed by the Maxtrax, and the Treads being the lowest profile. Mounting options, they all accept the Maxtrax kind of standard mounting points, but they have a bunch of different holes and mounting options out there, so you'll be able to find a lot of different options based off your need. And next test we have coming up is the bridge. Most manufacturers do not recommend using recovery boards for bridging, but we do it all the time as overlanders. The main reason that we do this is if there's loose ground, a really deep trench kind of like this where we don't want to lose traction, it's kind of a preventative measure. We just use it as a bridge to help us get across to lessen that obstacle. Yep, still straight, zero damage.
How'd it feel getting across?
Smooth. I mean, it takes a really deep ditch. I mean, this is almost 3 feet deep, 2 feet, 2 feet deep. So smooth. Like the run up to it was rougher than this was. Next one up are the Tred HDs.
They look like they definitely bent the most.
Yeah, they definitely have
more than Maxtrax.
Yeah, they have a slight bend to them. It's not bad though.
At the end, let's stack them and see if there's any deformation in the stacking.
Yeah, no damage. So they held up. Next. All right, I was wrong. Upon further inspection, there was a little damage. It's cracked right here where the mounting hole is. It's actually quite surprising. Exitrax next.
Look, there's a slight bow in it, maybe?
Yeah, slight bow. Like it's straight and then it kind of bows up that way. Or is that just my eyes?
No, I think it does.
All right. All right.
No
Zero
damage?
damage. All right. Next obstacle is the step climb. Whatever we're doing next. Let's go do it.
All right, so what'd you think driving over the bridge with the with all the tracks?
Honestly, they felt the same.
Yeah.
Everything was, definitely smoothed out versus going through just that hump on its own. Had traction on all of them, so driving, it didn't feel any difference. How did it look like the actual bend?
From my perspective, being at a profile, it looked like the Exitrax actually kind of had the most reinforcement. Gave you the, obviously they're all bottoming out, but it just seemed to bottom out the least, and it really came back the quickest. And then after that, the Exitrax definitely, I felt had just the same amount of support, didn't quite snap back as quickly. And then the treads, obviously they cracked, and they just didn't quite absorb. They just went right to the bottom super quick. Didn't feel like there's any kind of real support there except for just the thickness of the material.
Yeah, and rebound afterwards, the Maxtrax are the only ones that came back
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
Like they're still straight. The Exitrax have a slight bend to it, and the Tred have a slight bend to it.
And the tread has a bend and it's got like a twist. So it's it's a two-way.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So
All right.
all right. Well, let's give this a shot.
Yep. In this test, we are simulating a step. And a lot of times, if we're in rocky conditions, we can just stack some stones and everything up here to be able to create this easier going up the step. Of course, being in the desert, it's all sand. There is nothing. So we're going to use the recovery boards as our ramp going up the step. I doubt there's going to be any damage, but just to be safe. Still straight. No damage. Next up are the treads. Oh, so dirty.
That's what she said.
All right. Yeah, it still has the bend twist from the last one, but I don't think it's gotten any worse. I don't see any more damage. All right. Going over it was smooth. Didn't really feel a whole lot. I was actually kind of surprised because it has 0 grippies on the bottom. I was thinking it's going to definitely slip out in that application, but it held just as well as the Maxtrax so far. So, all right, moving on. Last but definitely not least, Exitrax. All right. So the bend that was in it before is gone, oddly enough. That's weird. And no damage. Yeah, no damage. The one thing I will say is the grip on here felt a lot better. Like it was really smooth. I don't know, it just bit into it. All right, that's it for testing. Let's get to our tabletop conclusions.
All right, we have one last test to do.
Test? What test?
Yeah, we have snow.
Snow? Dude, where are we gonna get snow?
I have an idea. All right, here we are, snow. I'm at my cabin in Montana, and this is the last part of my property. Well, my driveway that actually still has snow on it. It is super early spring. Everything's melting off pretty quick. I still have about 2.5, 3 feet of snow across the entire property. And obviously I have 6-foot mounds next to me, but on the driveway right here is about 6 inches of snow, and it's really wet slush on top, and then it's solid ice underneath. So this will be a good test. Now I don't have the Tacoma here. What I have is something a little bit bigger and a little bit harder to get out. This is my 2017 Ford F-250 diesel. I don't know hardly anything about recovery in the snow. This is really my first time spending a whole lot of time in the snow as an overlander. I grew up in the snow as a kid. I had a Jeep. We used to go out and just play in the snow, but this is the first time we actually had to really be aware and how to know how to recover from the snow. So I have a whole big learning curve from that. But one thing I do know is that this truck hates icy snow, ice, anything like that. When I first came up here, pulling the Land Cruiser up, I actually could not get out of the driveway. My buddy Joe had to come up with his dually with studded tires and pull me out of my own driveway. I was so stuck in here because this thing is so heavy. I got myself in here in 4 low. I'm gonna put it in 2 high, see if I can dig in a little bit, and let's try to get it out. Well, that was easy. Like I said, this thing hates snow. First up, treads. So you can see here on the drive tire one, this one definitely got launched. I kind of felt it kind of slide out, but then the power got transferred to the driver's side tire, which gave me the traction to get out. There's no damage to it, which is really, I mean, obviously there's not a lot of, this isn't a torture test with this scenario with the snow. It's really just, can I get traction and can it hold? I was surprised at how far this thing just kind of slid out. I don't know if it's just the design, because this, again, this has that slick bottom. There's not a lot of grip to this. So once it kind of, the traction wanted to go, it just kind of just had nowhere to go except for launching out the back. So yeah, it worked though. I got out, and moving on to Maxtrax. Well, it looks like the Maxtrax only moved maybe 6 inches. It looks like it slid just a little bit. It was definitely a much smoother transition once I got on top of the boards. Once they kind of settled and buried, I was able to kind of get a much smoother launch off the boards and into the snow to get my momentum forward. Next up, Exitrax! This snow test is so cool. It's way more telling than sand. But you can see, like, the tire was stuck here. The traction board basically shifted maybe 3-4 inches forward. It got on top, and then it rolled right off, and you can just see the whole thing in the snow. This thing is, it's a really cool test. But again, I think the Exitrax performed the best. I mean, it was just the smoothest takeoff with the way the nose is ramped. It was just an easier transition to get onto it and then to launch off of the backside of it. Once again, I don't know jack about recovering the snow. However, all 3 of these recovery boards were able to get my big, heavy F-250 diesel out of the snow, but Exitrax did it the best.
One of the main benefits of recovery boards is being able to link them together to gain traction to get out. You can do that with Maxtrax, just not easily. Most of the time, you just line up the holes, get some 550 cord together, and kind of just bind them together, and you want to be going on top of the other one, so you be going this direction. It's tough, it's a pain in the butt. If you don't have 550 cord or some other rope, then it's impossible. The other brands kind of have a fix. Let's check them out. According to Tred, the TredLink, the never-ending recovery board system, nest your Tred HD recovery boards from entry ramp to shovel end to give potential limitless recovery surface without the need for additional joiners. Sounds cool. Reality, not so good. They nest together, it creates a flat surface, but the problem is, on a table, it's hard to mount. So imagine in a full recovery situation, because if you're in a recovery situation, the weather's probably awful nothing happens, you know, during daylight, nice weather. So being able to put this together, I don't think works. I think you're still going to have to use 550 cord to attach these together. I think it's a better system than the Maxtrax, but not good. Let's check out the best.
You so like throwing those.
I do. I really do. The link system is optional. However, what a huge benefit. I think it should come with the Ultimate Series because they are badass. And this thing is really, like, you can pick this up. Here, pick it up with the link system. I mean, it holds it together. So over rough terrain, it can vary. It will hold it together as you're driving it over. I've used it. That's how they got melted. I had these together. It was a 2-wheel drive Tacoma, so can't blame them for that. But it works really well, and has the third benefit of being able to use as a jack stand and nesting into the mount as a jack stand. That's solid wins all over the place. And to me, a first place is a huge gap to second place. Caw-caw!
All right, bro. So what are your thoughts? Let's start with the Maxtrax. Obviously these are the notorious king of recovery boards, the original. What you think of these?
Yeah, for the OG, I mean, they held up great.
Yeah.
They did everything that they were asked to do. There's no real negatives about them except for price.
Yeah. And I really liked, I think, watching you dig, because, that's kind of his deal, is the Maxtrax definitely had the most leverage. I felt like you got more purchase with every scoop with the Maxtrax over the others.
I disagree. I think they're definitely better shoveling than the Treads, but because the grab handle on this, and I can actually flip it over and scoop,
yeah,
it was a lot easier with these than that. I mean, you could still grab the back of that and kind of do it, but I mean, it's not as comfortable as having a handle.
Right, definitely. All right, so it looks like to me that the Maxtrax are awesome,
yes,
but they're very expensive.
Super expensive.
The Treads were a little disappointing, the way it cracked and it kept deforming. Like, granted, right now on the table here, they've come back to shape, so
yeah,
they're perfectly, they've lined up perfectly.
Yep.
But they're still very expensive.
Yeah, it's definitely a wobble to them.
But the Exitrax literally nailed everything. They were
yes,
either right behind or right next to Maxtrax in every test we did.
I would say grip, these are better.
Mm-hmm.
Using it as a shovel, these are better. Tie for bridge, using for the step. I mean, just as general recovery boards, I mean, it's a tie, but these have better grip, and they're $130 cheaper.
Yeah.
I mean,
and plus, when you put the link in them, you can make them much longer.
Yeah, almost.
So if you have a long run out going up a hill, you can link those two together. So if you have 4 of them, you'll have, what, 8 feet of a run out on a sandy hill?
Yeah, which is great for, like, beach.
Yeah.
Especially like those beach entries and exits. Those are always really hard.
Yeah.
So some speed, momentum is your friend in the sand.
Yeah.
All right. How would you rank them for second, third?
Oh, I think Exitrax nailed it. I think these are by far, I would take these every single time. I've got 4 in my truck. They've never let me down. Then I would go to Maxtrax because they are the OG. These were going to last forever.
Yeah.
And then Tred's third place.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And these have been on my vehicle coming up on 2 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And they all have UV stabilization in them, so they're not going to fade. They're not going to crack. What were those the cheap brands, sub 200 ones that we tested?
Like the Firefly ones?
Oh my God, those
just
like
started to disintegrate.
Yeah.
I didn't even want to touch them because I don't know what chemicals are in there.
Yeah, so these will last a lifetime.
There's one drawback to the Exitrax, and I wish that they would address this, is the color. I think they only come in black and gray. And
I think they have more colors now.
Do they have orange now? Because orange, I think, is like, The best color for these, they stand out at night. You find them in the sand, you find them in the mud.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I don't like, because they're gray. They can kind of get lost in things. I know that I've used them for supports camping, and I've driven off of them and almost left them because they just blend into the landscape.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention to color, but I think that they have new colors out. And
Okay.
one of them is teal, so it's very pretty blue. Sky blue almost.
Yeah, just stick with orange. We'll do that.
Safety orange.
Yep.
Or green. I like green. Match my Iron Man shocks.
Yeah. All right, the Exitrax, in my opinion, are by far the winner, especially for bang for the buck.
Yeah.
You cannot argue with
No,
Exitrax.
you cannot. I mean, I don't know why they're not more prolific in the market. I think Mean Mother, the maker of Exitrax, needs to get in gear and push these things.
Yeah, definitely a lot more advertising.
Yeah.
A lot more expos, all that good stuff.
Yep.
All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, be sure to hit that thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and we will see you guys next time.
Peace. All right, guys, starting at the top of the list, we have the, I keep wanting to say Exitrax.
Axtrax?
Maxtrax. Maxtrax. I'm halfway there. I just need to add an M in there. All right. Let me unhood. Getting a good shot of my crotch.
Yeah, big huge shot of crotch shot.
Yeah. Next up are the, God, which ones are these?
Treads.
Treads.
Can do that again?
Yes, yes, I do. All right, well.
What was that?
I didn't know how to end that one.
It's fine.
Brand name, yeah. Recovery boards.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Where am I at?
I would just start over.
Starting over.
Okay.
Got it. I was like, it's way down here.
God. Why aren't these like 5.5 foot
Oh
tall?
no, I should be up here with
Jesus, like a bro.
it. That's all I got.